afternoon. Well, this is a different kind of a fall haul that I wanted to share with you. I just cleaned out my garden, my raised bed garden today after harvesting everything that was left and deciding that it was time to do the fall planting. The problem is that I feel like I'm a little late for the fall planting if I'm going to use seeds, which was my initial plan. So I decided to go to the nursery, and even though I went there thinking I was just going to get amendments for the raised bed, I ended up buying mostly plants, mostly vegetables for the raised bed garden that have already been started. Which I think is smart because I'm worried that I wouldn't have enough time for the seeds. The problem now is I find out that this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm going to have temperatures of over 100 degrees. I don't think that these little guys are going to like that, so I'm going to try to create a shade awning over the vegetable garden for that. So here we go. We'll take these little guys in the backyard and I'll show you how I'm going to amend my soil. All right, well, it's late afternoon and it's still over 90 degrees here, which I just don't know. Not what it's supposed to be on the first day of autumn. But I am preparing for my fall vegetable garden. I've never been successful with a fall vegetable garden, so I'm hoping that this time will be the charm. The first thing to do when preparing for a new garden is to make sure that the soil is appropriately amended. So I'm going to dig here in the soil. I've pulled out all the plants, but I haven't exactly pulled out everything that's necessary. So for example, I'm looking here and I see, I don't know if you can see, there's this whole root system from a marigold that's still in the soil in big clumps, and that wouldn't be good for the vegetables. So I'm going to pull out all of that. There's a few rocks, some weeds, things like that I'm going to take up. And then I'm going to amend the soil, and I'm going to put in this product called Raised Bed Organic Potting Mix. And I'm excited about that because I've never really used this before. I've only used just general potting mix, but this is particularly for raised beds, which I think maybe will make a difference, or maybe it's just a marketing gimmick. I'm not sure. And then I will make sure to till that into the soil. And then I have some special nutrients, which I'll show you, and I'm going to put those into the soil, give it a little bit of a water, let it rest for a day, and then I'm going to plant my veg. So here we go. All right, so the sun has gone down. I've continued to work on my little raised garden bed here, and I wanted to show you the steps that I went through to get to the final product. Now, some garden blogs are very high-tech and have photographers and videographers, but this is just me doing it. So I'm holding the camera in my left hand and trying to garden with my right hand. So we'll see how this turns out, but I wanted to show you. This is the implement that I'm using. It's like a hoe. It's, handheld, and I dug in probably 6 to 8 inches, and I just, I dug in and pulled like that, making sure that all of the soil is being pulled up. I took out all of the watering pins so that those would move, and then I just tilled the soil like that. Now I found all kinds of interesting things, like what's this? I don't know. That might be some kind of a watering thing. But anyways, I found some acorns, I found some walnuts, I found other kinds of watering implements. So lots of interesting things when you dig deep in the garden, but it also makes me understand that there have been a lot of little squirrels in my garden that I didn't know about. Now here's the second step where well, actually the second step is over here, where I just dumped the raised bed compost into the garden. And then over here, I dug up the earth again. Uh-oh, the air conditioner just went on. I dug up the earth again, and I just made sure that it was all tilled and combined well here. I did it mostly by hand, but I did use the tiller as well. And then the last piece is going to be that I'm using this vegetable garden amendment. It is organic, and it has these 4 items in it, which I think are really important. So it has nitrogen, which is really good for the soil. I read that all the time. Phosphate, potash, calcium, magnesium, and iron. So I did the math about how much is supposed to go in, and I think it's about 1/4 of the bag on each side. So I'll just put that down. And then I'll make sure to till that in. Now I'm going to water it after I'm done. So let me till this, and then we'll do the final coup de grace. All right, well, here we are, the last step, giving it a little bit of water so we can settle in, and then I'll probably try to plant maybe later in the day, tomorrow. There's a couple things I wanted to talk to you about, though, as I finish this job. First of all, it felt like a really big job. I thought it was going to be easier than it was. But, you know, digging up and tilling the soil by hand was, you know, no small job. But I'll tell you something, I could not have done it if I did not have a raised bed garden. So here's the secret. I'm 64 and I have a really bad back. And so, you know, bending over for long periods of time from the waist is really hard. And I have a particularly bad back right now because when I went to visit baby Abby, I wasn't sleeping on my own bed, but I was sleeping on a bed that was not conducive to my back health. So my back really hurt me this morning when I got up, but I decided I would come out here anyways. I took a couple Motrin. This is more information than you need to know about my health. Anyways, the point is, if you have the opportunity to have a raised bed garden, do it, because it makes gardening 100 times easier, and I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't have the raised bed garden. But the last thing I wanted to tell you is, sort of later in the day, as I was thinking about doing this and hadn't yet done it, I started to think that I was having a migraine. Whoops, the water went away. And I'll show you my plants here. And so I pushed through, came into the garden, started tilling the soil, la-di-da-di-da-da-da. And guess what? I don't have a migraine anymore. And do you know what that means? That means that gardening is good for your health. So go outside, plant a fall garden if you can, and if you can't, do some container gardening or indoor gardening. It's all just wonderful for your health and you.